Hello and welcome to Gaming Knuckleheads Talk. I had something for the opening and I totally forgot what it was.
What else is new?
Oh, the show that's in desperate need of getting back on track with the usual 3-host gig.
Yeah, fair.
It was something along those lines, if I'm remembering correctly. Anyway, tonight we are here to set the record straight because earlier this afternoon I was watching shit on YouTube, and along comes this guy talking about something about game key cards and physical games, and talking about how there's a lot of numbskulls on the internet. In particular, he was proving that as long as a game key card is downloaded, like the software is installed on your Switch 2, you can play it offline. I mean, no shit. I have a few digital titles that I've played Switch 2 wise. Well, not connected to any internet. But there is a lot of misinformation, and in some cases, we're setting the record straight, and we're going whale hunting. If you know, you know. So, first topic of the night is set the record straight. And first off, I don't even know what the hell's with this new portrait versus landscape thing, but I assume it's to show what it looks like when someone's watching on their phone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's see if Matt is. Oh yeah, gotta swap over to the chat because I have words with that boy about that shit he put in our chat this morning. Anyway, so first up, I want to talk about the all-digital future, because lately, ever since PlayStation's announcement, you know the one, they've had to resort to strong-arm bribery. Oh, please don't cancel. We'll give you 50% off. I should say it. I should reference the company, but I'm going to behave and I'm not going to call them out this time. Anyway, it's like a lot of people are, we're boycotting Sony now. Good start, but a lot of people are saying, Nintendo's not looking so bad now, are they? First and foremost, Nintendo is no saint. They're not perfect. I'm not going to fanboy over. I criticize when criticized, but one thing that I feel that people forget when it comes to this is that technically Nintendo is, because a lot of people are like, game key cards aren't that a big deal right now, are they? Well, first off, let's look at the facts, shall we? A game key card has no game on it. When you stick it into your system, it downloads the entire digital game from the eShop because the license is on there, you know? So it's like those games are still digital. Like Atlas can say, hey, you know what? We've decided that with Persona 4 Rebirth.
I believe so.
Fuck. I got to look it up. Persona 4 Revival. With Persona 4 Revival coming out, we're going to put this on the Switch 2, but we don't want anyone to play Persona 3 Reload on the Switch 2 anymore. Pull a Ubisoft. They're still able to remove that game from the eShop, from the systems of all Switch 2 owners who have it, thus rendering the game keycard useless.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Nintendo is no saint. Thoughts?
No, I agree. I mean, I think you'd be fair on that. It's like, it's, I would say, probably not the worst thing that's going on right now. I feel like PlayStation's taking that at the moment. Sony's taking that at the moment, but still, not, as you say, not saints. Definitely not the worst, but still not saints.
Yeah, I mean, it's like at least we still have what am I thinking of? Oh, at least we still have first-party physicals and second-party physicals, because Monolith Soft Intelligent Systems, HAL Laboratories, Sora. These are all second parties that Nintendo owns. Yeah. I mean, they own Impact Studios now, but that is a Mario Strikers for another day.
Mm-hmm.
I went there.
Yeah.
And so, to a degree, we have a very small, like, I can only count 4 off the top of my head if you include the upcoming release of Oblivion on the Switch 2 in August.
Mm-hmm.
There might be more, but, like Cyberpunk, Crossworlds, Indiana Jones, or like, so what few and far between there still are some third-party physical games,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's like, that's the only good thing. Hold on. Anyway, so Nintendo. I used to say Nintendo is the last bastion of local multiplayer. I mean, how often do you see somebody with a PlayStation or an Xbox actually inviting their friend over rather than calling up their friend and saying, "Hey, let's play online"?
Very, very little. But to be fair, I am one of those people who actually does do that.
And as for, with the exception of Pokemon, how often do you see people actually doing things online with their Nintendo as opposed to playing with people?
Not too often, at least for me. I mean, the only times that I do it is if I say have a friend who's long distance and there is no other way to play those sorts of games otherwise.
So you'd say more often than not, people use Nintendo as a social console rather than online gaming.
Yeah.
That's why I've always said that. Well, now Nintendo is, for the time being, the last bastion of physical games. And it really begs the question, is the industry going to go downhill with the potential of the inevitable all-digital future? Xbox is already there, I believe.
Mostly. I think there's some cases where it's still has some physical, games, but I do think it's going in that direction.
Sony is almost all the way there.
Uh-huh.
And one thing that I am going to bring up is that a lot of people are, well, why don't you complain about Steam? They've been all digital for the longest time. And PC was the first gaming system to go all digital with the end of optical drives. But I think the big thing is that, like, what exactly do you think PC's excuse is? Because it's an issue when Microsoft does it. It's an issue when Sony does it. It's going to be an issue when Nintendo. I cannot for the life of me figure out why or how PC has an excuse.
I feel the reason why for that is that people usually consider that PC and console are like two separate sorts of like areas. So PC doing one thing is considered okay because console does the opposite and vice versa.
Yeah, and we have the thing with GOG.
Yeah.
Hardly anything new is on GOG because developers be greedy. They want to license.
Yeah, and another thing that also goes into Steam is that when you think about it, Steam primarily is an online digital service.
Yeah, you play when you're not online, and it's like, ooh, access the game in offline mode.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, fuck you, I just want to play Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. Well, I'm not playing Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 because that game was so poorly optimized that even on modern PCs it can blow out your fans. But, it's like without having to reboot in offline mode. And that's a point for GOG. Like, more games need to be coming to GOG because of the installers.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to delve a little bit more into the whole licensing thing in the next topic, but it's like developers are pretty much like, I'd say a lot of what I have on GOG through my library is mostly like, and I haven't even installed some of this because I don't know how that GOG Galaxy thing works. So I don't know if I can play the games after I install them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But it's like, at least I have the backups. I mean, this computer has a bunch of mouse problems. And if I had the money, I'd buy a new laptop, or at the very least, pay an arm and a leg just to get the fucking thing figured out and fixed. And maybe if I had a little extra cash to spare, take out the 512 or put in a 1 to 2 terabyte. More space.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like, the point is, if I ever need to get a new computer, I can log into my GOG and re-download the games anytime. And they'll never be taken away from me. I mean, technically, as installers that I purchase digitally, they are digital, but it's... I'm going to go into the physical versus digital bit now and just say, like, is it a legal gray where, even though it is a digital product and therefore not owned under United States law, because it's an installer that you can put onto an external hard drive and back up, is it like an exception to the rules? Is it a moral gray? Is it like different from traditional digital? Like, what happens if a record company doesn't want me to keep all the music by a band I purchased on iTunes? It's not like they can just patch my computer. Yeah. So, you know. But again, another topic in the video, but yeah. And I think there's one big problem with the all-digital future that everyone's forgetting, especially the ones who praise it.
Well, I have a particular one that I believe too, but say yours first. You might be thinking the same thing as me.
Where the hell are you going to store all those games? It's like, I think the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series XS have 1 terabyte hard drives in them.
They do.
With the size of games these days, you can only fit like, what, 9 of them at a time?
Yeah, like my PS5 has an external hard drive for that because I will tell you right now, the biggest game that took up the most space on there was Baldur's Gate 3.
And how much was that?
I don't know off the top of my head, but it is definitely the biggest one. I do know that. It is quite like around of several hundred gigabytes.
I was about to say, is it between 1 to 199 or is it over 100 gigabytes?
Well, I believe over like 100 at least.
So 200 or more?
I believe so, yeah.
Jesus, at least Final Fantasy Intergrade doesn't do that.
I mean, to be fair, I did have to get the digital copy of it just because I wasn't able to get a physical one in time.
Yeah, I hear you. But yeah. I
but
mean,
that's
like,
that's similar also into the topic as well, is that, like, you know, digital does take up more space than, like, you know, a physical copy.
Yeah, more or less. It's like, the reason that I don't play Street Fighter 6 anymore, it's not because I don't like it. It's not because I'm salty over classics like Vega being axed from the roster for absolutely no reason. Unless somebody pops into the comments and actually explains what Capcom was thinking. Or better yet, what they were smoking. It's because right now, with all the update patches, the game was like 48 gigabytes at launch when the Switch 2 came out last year. Plus like an additional 1 to 1.5 gigabytes for the year 1 DLC. But patch after patch after patch, it's over 70 gigabytes now. And I could only afford to get a 512er.
Yeah.
So I need more room. I need at least 2 terabytes worth, especially with the amount of digital games through game key card and digital purchase, you know? Yeah. So it's like, the all-digital future is a bad idea until we can figure out how to make games streamlined and take up less space.
Or at the very least, finding a way to get additional storage that isn't exactly going to cost you like an arm and a leg, or whatever next consoles they have, adding more, like, you know, memory to that. But I doubt that.
Neither of those are going to happen for one reason.
I know.
Let's play a game I like to call Cause and Effect Train. Big tech invest in AI. AI somehow means that there's no more RAM.
That's because they're using all of that on AI for everything that it needs processing-wise and memory-wise.
Yeah, those fuck sticks. But yeah, it's like that, not good. It's like, I mean, the Steam machine alone is going to be over $1,000 because of the RAM shortage.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm sorry, but I'll stick to my $450, soon to be $500 Switch 2.
Yeah.
At least I'm still paying less than quadruple digits for that. But it's like, unless we find a way to outlaw AI, or if not outlaw it, at least have some sort of, and this is the part where we got to get kind of political to explain, but get some sort of government control over corporations.
Yeah, I get you. Well, I do know that some politicians are trying to do that.
Yeah. Because it's like, computers are already fairly expensive. They're going to get more expensive. Consoles and even games are going to get more expensive. It's going to get to a point where we're literally going to be playing nothing but free to play mobile games until they shut down.
Free to play mobile games or free to play online games.
Yeah, that too. As long as we have access to the devices to play them on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, end of the day, I'm not looking forward to seeing an all digital future. So I'm hoping that Nintendo will hold out and believe in physical as long as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, even if they like weren't to really think about it, there is a way they could also benefit from it. I mean, think of it. They're the only company that still does physical.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine how many people you'd probably be bringing into there, especially if you were able to give, like, third-party games.
Yep. And I'm going to tell you right now, what was I thinking? I was thinking of oh yeah. Wait. Oh yeah. Yeah, because like I want to be dead and buried before Nintendo goes fully digital. Even if I've retired from gaming because I can't be bothered to keep buying new systems and new games and everything, I don't want to be alive to see Nintendo be the last holdout giving up.
Mm-hmm.
Unless we fix the problem to make fully digital, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And Nintendo, in that fact, they need to get with the program because you know that famous thing Reggie Fils-Aimé said about why Nintendo does not make powerful consoles.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but the way he puts it, it makes it sound like power level affects fun. We want to focus on making games fun. So have the software developers do that. That is their job. Hardware developers don't make games. Yeah? Nintendo's going to need a fuck ton of bigger storage. Like, let me grab my Switch 2 and actually check how much internal storage space I currently have. Because everything game-wise and update patch-wise is going straight to the SD card, meaning that I should have plenty of free space, give or take save data.
Mm-hmm.
Free space, 225.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's got 200 some odd gigabytes of space, excluding the space needed for the files that make the system run. You know.
Mm-hmm.
You know how when you buy like a 1 terabyte computer, it has like 900 something gigabytes of free space.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the files I'm talking about. Yeah, it's like we need bigger space or a price drop in external storage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's all have a moment. All right, moment's over. Fuck you, Sony.
Yeah, Sony has been making a lot of questionable decisions, and not just in this particular case.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I mean, have you heard about like what people have been saying about with Bungie?
About the potential layoffs?
No, essentially that they bought Bungie for a lot of money and barely did anything with it.
All I heard was a friend of mine who likes to play Destiny 2 was pretty much pissed that they were moving on. But my talk behind that would basically be on the upcoming future topic of, do game companies want you playing older games? Spoiler alert for in case we ever get that topic into the show, the answer is no, they do not.
Unless it's a remake.
Well, yeah, that too. But so yeah, and I heard something about Bungie related layoffs for like and by heard I mean
That is
videos and seeing like headlines and shit.
Oh yeah, it's definitely happening. I'm more referring to the fact that a lot of stuff happened that let me put it this way: that Sony buying them should not have happened.
Yeah. And Microsoft, I don't know what the hell they're doing because I don't follow. I tend to see a little bit more about Nintendo and PlayStation in the news, well, the YouTube news, than I actually do anything Microsoft related.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure recently I had something to say about Microsoft and I forget what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Nintendo makes questionable bad decisions too, but right now they're the kings. Their current console costs less than a PS5. They still have some semblance of physical gaming. And more or less, they are the only stupid things they've been doing are based off whenever Miyamoto opens his mouth.
Yeah. I mean, if you ask me, the way I see it with PlayStation is sometimes this. They usually have ideas or like get their hands on something that's like a golden egg, but rather than nurture it themselves, they eat it off as far as they can and hope that it'll survive on its own.
Yep.
I mean, that's pretty much what happened with like, all the like things behind their free-to-play games with that, like, Burt's Helldivers 2, right?
Kinda.
They basically came up with a bunch of like, free-to-play games or those kinds of types of games that were going to be on there. Concord was one of them. And out of all of them, only Helldivers 2 was a success.
Wow.
Yeah. And Concord actually cost them money.
Well, speaking of money, I'll tell you right now, that is not, I repeat, not the reason behind so damn many game key cards. Mm-hmm. So for our next topic, we're going to set the record straight on the truth about game key cards. Yep. Particularly something that people are spreading as misinformation due to the fact that they probably cannot be bothered to do their fucking research. A lot of people are saying, and I recently saw a YouTube short, you don't even own physical games anymore. Really, because the United States federal government, every court in every city, state, county across the country would beg to differ. Uh-huh. See, in 2017, Bethesda tried to sue an average Joe for trying to sell a CD-ROM, a PC game he owned on CD-ROM. Uh-huh. It was a physical disc. It was an Elder Scrolls game. I forget which one. Uh-huh. It was one of the ones before PC went fully digital. Uh-huh. They told him he had no legal right to sell that game because the Elder Scrolls is owned by Bethesda. Uh-huh. They were right to say that. They were wrong to say he couldn't sell it because somebody, and this was a Review Tech USA video I saw back then, somebody took the time to copy and paste an entire United States legal statute in full. I don't remember what it says word for word because I don't even know if Rich still has his channel around. I heard stuff about drama, quitting, etc. Point is, to sum it up, it basically states if you purchase a physical good from a store or a secondhand dealer like eBay, Amazon, that becomes your physical property. Mm-hmm. Now, Brent.
Yeah.
You just bought a house.
Yes, I did.
Because that house is a physical thing that you bought, do you own that house?
Yes, and I even have the deed to prove it.
That is exactly what this legal statute means. If you can buy it, if you can physically touch it, if you can physically hold it in your hand, like I can this Switch Lite and this pamphlet from the Ren Fair, apparently. I did not mean to pick both of those up, I swear. Uh-huh. Then I own it, you know? Mm-hmm. So by that law, physical games, Mario Kart World, Super Mario RPG. Okay, Dragon Quest IX, because I was playing it recently.
Mhm.
You own those games if you can physically hold them in your hand and you bought them in some way, shape, or form.
Mhm.
They are your legal property and you own them. That is not an opinion. That is not my trying to deny the truth. That is an ironclad fact.
Mhm.
Ubisoft in their EULA says if you don't get rid of your physical games that they want you to get rid of, they can force you to get rid of them. Take their asses to court. A judge is going to ask them, are these digital games? No. Are they physical games that the person bought? Yes. Get the fuck out of my courtroom.
Mhm.
Like, any judge will pretty much tell Ubisoft, unless that judge took a bribe, the law is the law. You know?
Mhm.
And that's exactly why so many third-party developers are using game keycards. Not because it's cheaper. I mean, you can argue that, but first off, if a company knows that they're going to lose, that they're going to sell millions of copies of a game, they're not going to have to worry about the cost because they'll make that money back and then some. You know? Yeah. It's like, but so, that's just greed.
Mhm.
No, I'm about to drop the most logical theory that makes the most sense onto you. Are you ready?
I'm listening.
Loophole.
Mhm.
Think about it. That legal statute only applies to physical goods, not digital. Hence why I pontificated on backup installers and the fact that you can back up music that you buy on iTunes.
Mhm.
Those are digital goods, but are they really? Can they really be taken away the same way they can be taken out of a streaming service, or do they fall more on the physical good end of the spectrum?
I'd say they probably fall more onto the latter.
The point is, digital games, you don't own digital games. So, if game companies want to force you to license your games and not own them, and they know that here in the United States, you own your physical games, how do they prevent you from owning your games? Digital distribution. That is why so many game developers are using game keycards on the Switch. Because they know the second that game is put onto a cartridge and a person puts down their money in the store and walks out with that cartridge,
Mhm.
they own that game. And according to developers, that's no bueno.
Mhm.
It makes the most logical sense when you think about it. If they're going to make millions off a physical game, what other reason do they have to make it a game keycard?
Mhm.
Aside from storage, like for example, I'm giving Kingdom Hearts 1 through 3 collection a pass because like the amount of space that each individual game is going to take up, it's going to be more than the 64 gigabytes
Mhm.
of the Switch 2 cartridge. So, if you can't get it below 64 gigabytes, you get a pass. But what are the excuses of Persona 3, which is like 21 gigabytes, Pocopia, which is technically developed by Tecmo Koei with Game Freak supervision, making it a pseudo third party? Let's see. Sonic X Shadow Generations and Sonic Frontiers Definitive Edition.
Mhm.
These are all games that have one thing in common.
Mhm.
They're all less than 64 gigabytes.
Yeah.
So, what other reason other than trying to wrest legal ownership away from American gamers? I can't speak for the rest of the world. I don't know if Japan has a law like that. I don't know if Europe has laws like that in the various countries.
Mhm.
All I know is that is a law we have here in the States.
Mhm.
And they have to get around that somehow. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Anyway, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I feel like when you bring it all out like that, Gear, you definitely do have a massive point on that point. It definitely does sound like it's more of a less like not wanting to do like physical because like a quote no one buys physical anymore and more of a form of control in a sort of way.
Yeah. Because I'm going to tell you right now.
I don't think everyone is like that, but that's just the optimist in me. But I do feel like, higher areas definitely. Like, I know that there's probably like some companies out there that sell digital only just because it's a bit easier for them to do rather than, putting it into there to send out, like, to make physical copies and stuff. Like, for example, like, Yacht Club, like a lot of their games I've gotten like, digital.
Yeah. I mean, I have Shovel Knight Treasure Trove physical.
Yeah, but I mean, like at first when it was released, it really was more like a digital game, but eventually it got made into physical.
Yeah.
That's what I'm sort of meaning is that like I think there's like some that do it. Like I'm just trying to say is like I agree with you that it feels like more like bigger companies are trying to do it for like to go around that loophole of being a consumer's property, but I don't think every single thing is that sort of way.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately I feel is what makes people not really go to that's like, to the one we're talking about right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if Nintendo truly cared about actually, like, I said they're the last bastion of physical games, and I meant it, but if they really cared about keeping the future from going all digital, what they would do is they would put specific rules in place for game key cards. And the biggest one would be if it can fit on a cartridge, you have to put it on the cartridge, or this game will not come to the Switch 2. Yeah. Because like that would force developers to keep pushing the physical market. It's like this shit's getting so out of hand that when people say if buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't stealing. Aside from the like, that is not a good. Like, I can agree to an extent, but like, that is not a justifiable excuse in a court of law if you get sued.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's like, I think one of the best ways to go and fight back, even though at the very least our government, I can't speak for others, won't ever do anything about it. Petition for legally justifiable piracy. Specific conditions must be met for piracy to no longer be piracy. Yeah. Because it's like, you could say because of like EULAs and licensing agreements and everything, that's not a justifiable reason. But it's like what I said, like about, like the property laws and like if Ubisoft's not dumb enough to try and actually sue people for owning their games physically, that right there would be a good reason to even get the petition rolling and use lack of ownership of digital games as an excuse. It's like, well, because like, here's the thing about EULAs, and I know I've mentioned this on the show before, but a YouTuber I watch named Optimus made a very good analogy. I want you to imagine that you're going to the store, and let's just, for the sake of it, pretend that you actually cook.
Okay.
You pretending?
Yeah.
Okay. So you go out, you buy some ground beef, some cheese, a little bit of sour cream, and some soft shells, right? Now, I want you to imagine corporate bigwig from Publix comes knocking on your door. Sorry, but we're going to take back your beef. See, you don't own these groceries that you bought. We can take them away from you anytime. It's like, you need food to survive.
Everyone does.
If companies try doing shit like that with physical products, we could be seeing a ridiculously high body count.
Yeah.
Because of the number of people who would die from malnourishment. So it's like, you can use that analogy to point out that, digital, the point is, if this is how companies are going to behave, and if they try to overturn these property laws, more or less, that's why we should be allowed to download shit without being accused of piracy. If we can make it so that there's justification so that piracy isn't actually piracy, it pretty much means that companies are going to be forced to change for the better. You know? I mean, granted, something like that would never happen in a society, in a capitalist society like the United States. Not sure about other countries, but I do know, I actually did recently watch a video today about somebody. Microsoft shut down their account for no reason, apparently. They claim that the account was compromised. Now, I don't know if this guy got a new credit card or something, but the point is his entire account was taken from him. And they fed some blatantly untrue bullshit that they couldn't restore it. You want to know why it's blatantly untrue?
How's that?
Brazil. The country of Brazil sued Microsoft after a Brazilian citizen lost their account. Guess why they have their account back?
Because of Brazil law?
The judge basically made an order, and I think this was done in criminal court, which means that Microsoft CEO would need an interim while he was doing time in a Brazilian prison, because he would be, if they hadn't restored the account, he'd most likely be extradited to Brazil and jailed. Yeah. Even if you're from a foreign country, when you do business with other countries, you have to abide by their laws when doing business in that country. What that means is in Japan, they can do things by Japanese law. But for companies like Nintendo or Sony to do business in America, their products have to abide by American laws. And to continue doing business, they have to do whatever the law says. It's like the Belgium loot box incident in back in 2017.
Yeah.
Remember, Take-Two got down on their hands and knees, damn near sucked all our dicks? Yeah, it's like they cannot legally put games with loot boxes on Brazilian smart devices. On Belgian smart devices. Why the hell did I say Brazil?
Because we're both talking about two countries that start with B.
And I was also just talking about Brazil, apparently. Yeah, so it's like, if Brazilian law dictates that Microsoft had no right to do that, so you know that they can restore accounts. So telling this dude, oh, we can't restore your account, whatever you say, Pinocchio. Yeah, I know I shouldn't drag my ex into it, but what the hell? I went there, and I make no apology. She's never going to find out.
Yeah, she doesn't watch this.
Hell no. Anyway, but yeah, case in point, it's like, as far as I'm concerned, Nintendo needs to start making changes. And what they should do, if they actually implement that kind of policy, anyone who can send their data to Nintendo can get at least 3 of their game key cards replaced with physical copies. Like Nintendo will do something they don't do. They will take the digital game out of your library. They will give you a physical game in its place. You know?
Yep.
Right or wrong. Because I'll tell you right now, I would love to have Street Fighter 6, Digimon Storytime Stranger, and Persona 3 all on the key card. Sorry, all on the physical cartridge. Shut up! All on the physical cartridge. I mean, there are upcoming games that I'd love to see doing that as well, and games that haven't even been announced that may. I love Monster Hunter, but I'm not looking forward to having to download God knows how many gigabytes just to play the next mainline Monster Hunter game that comes to the Switch. Because Capcom is one of the companies that straight up said there isn't going to be a single physical Capcom game on the Switch 2 ever. What are some games that you either own for the Switch 2 or would like to get for the Switch 2 that don't actually have physical cartridges?
At the moment, I don't really have a lot, truth be told. Mainly just because I will say that most of my gaming at the moment's been a little bit on the lackluster just because of the month of June.
It was
What?
one weekend long convention at the end of the month.
What?
Middle of the month. Now I'm just fucking with you.
I know you are.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's like, well, I mean, what are your thoughts on the whole Nintendo making better decisions in terms of the thing?
Honestly, I hope they do. Because, as you said, like, at the moment, they're like the technically last bastion of, sort of games. Like, again, third party and other stuff seems to be more going towards, like, more, like key card, but it's like first party and second party still remain there, whereas their competition is either all digital, like, again, like with Steam, or is in the process of wanting to go digital, like Sony is dead set on.
Yeah. And their bribery obviously didn't work because there were petitions and whatnot. Anyway, I'll tell you how to get Nintendo to make better decisions. Step 1, fire Miyamoto. Step 2, fire Furukawa. Step 3, find someone who's exactly like Iwata was. Step 4, make that guy the new CEO.
Yeah, but you got to make sure, but that might be a little bit more difficult on the last two. Because I won't say Iwata was one of a kind, but I don't think you can find someone just as like he was.
Yeah. I mean, close enough. Because it's like I said in the Shigeru exposing Miyamoto episode, the whole reason Furukawa was put in place was because Miyamoto knew that, like, he did not like Iwata. I'll tell you that right now. He can claim he did, but that's a lie. He did not like Iwata because Iwata would call him out when he did bad shit. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And Miyamoto is one of the most arrogant, egotistical game developers in the history of game development. I say one of them because, we have that fish dude who tried suing a bunch of people. We have the Remind brothers. No need to remind you what they did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually surprised the judge didn't point and laugh at them when he denied their request.
Honestly, if you were to say who was the most arrogant, who would you say was actually the most? Like, who would you say takes the number one spot?
Honestly, that fish guy or the Remind brothers, just because they actually had the stones to try and frivolously and without justification or legal standing sue gamers for having an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's like Miyamoto, he knew that Furukawa had no leadership experience whatsoever, and that's why he's in the CEO's chair. So Miyamoto, like I said, can run the company. Even if he didn't know, he's still running the damn company because Furukawa could not manage his way out of a cardboard box on its side, looking out of the flap. If he was sitting in a cardboard box, staring outside, he could not figure out how to get out of that cardboard box.
His plan would be to tip it over, and it would probably more than likely flip over multiple times and then land on the open this side up way.
Yeah. So more or less, it's like, and because like when Miyamoto pretty much told investors in 2019 that he wasn't going to listen to what his boss said about taking feedback into consideration and improving the Nintendo Switch Online service, tell me, what would Iwata have done if he were in Furukawa's position at that time?
I think we all know, so why don't we say it together?
He would have called Miyamoto into his office and told him, I'm the boss, my word is law, do it. Oh, and don't tell those investors you lied.
I was going to have us count down to 3 and then say, do it.
3, 2, 1, do it.
Do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's like, straight up, like, and I watched a video by Thomas Game Docs where he more or less talked about ranking the 20 Zelda games from worst to best. And he talked about, I don't know when the interview happened, but I think it was a more recent interview. But Miyamoto was asked about the bad Zelda games. You want to know what he said?
What bad Zelda games?
Actually, he might as well have, because he said Nintendo does not make a single bad product of any kind. Every product we make is a perfect 10, and there's nothing wrong with any of them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think the Virtual Boy would have something to say about that.
I think a lot of people have things to say about Zelda too.
The Star Fox Zero got raked over the coals, and Miyamoto was pretty much like, this isn't a bad game. Everyone who says it's a bad game is just an ungrateful hater.
More than likely, the way it is that so many of the people who... Here's the way I feel like Star Fox Zero is, and one of the reasons why I think he says that, is that for people who are able to handle both looking at the screen and the pad, it's not a bad game. But for people who can't do that...
Yeah, but that's not the only criticism of the game. People were pissed that it was yet another remake, even though they did different stages this time.
Mm-hmm.
And I played a little bit of it, so I know it's not identical.
Yeah.
Lack of a multiplayer mode.
Definitely that too.
So there was a lot to criticize, not just the whole mishandling of the dual screen gimmick.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the point is, you don't criticize Nintendo because Miyamoto says you're wrong and you're just a hater, even if you have valid criticisms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like, we get someone as close to Iwata as possible taking over. I guarantee changes are going to be made involving game key cards, including the recall of all current game key cards, replacing the ones that need that. Obviously, with the exception of Final Fantasy VII in a grade, ain't no way that's not going to be recalled. I'm talking about anything 64 gigabytes or less.
Yeah.
By the way, Nintendo cannot estimate to save their lives. It's like 15.8 gigabytes for Time Stranger, right? Took up like 12 something gigabytes on my Switch 2. How the hell were they off by 3 if they can see the file sizes? How the hell are they getting it wrong?
I've got no clue, man.
The point is that someone like Iwata would recall those games, reprint them as physical games. And I know that letting gamers get free stuff is a little bit pushing it. But I mean, first off, the Ambassador program, the only games that never made it to the general public for purchase were the GBA titles. So limiting it to 3 game key cards in your collection and you having to repurchase the rest seems reasonable. Yeah? Yeah. But let's go back to the loot boxes a second, because this is the part where we really get to get your raincoat, your stupid-looking rain hat, and your harpoon, because we're going whale hunting.
Okie doke, then.
One thing that really drives me batshit insane is when people are like, compare microtransactions to trading cards. Sorry, not microtransactions, loot boxes to trading cards. Well, you say that you won't buy loot boxes in games, but you'll buy trading cards. It's the same thing. Half right. Guess what they got wrong?
What?
What can you do with trading cards that you can't do with loot boxes?
You can trade them.
Exactly. Let's say that I have 3 of one Pokemon card, and you have 2 of another one. You want one of those 3, and I want one of those 2. I hand you one, you give me the other. You can't do that with loot boxes.
Yeah, you can't.
Loot boxes are straight up gambling, and you lose your money. Trading cards, yes, there is a gamble. You might not get the cards you want, but if you know somebody who has the cards you want and you have cards they want, you're getting the cards you want, so you're not losing your money. You're not wasting your money. You know? And that's literally where people show their idiocy. Is like, and a lot of the gacha stuff I do, like Fire Emblem Heroes, for example.
Yeah.
I don't drop money on summoning orbs just to play the gacha lottery. You know? In fact, just to experiment with what it did, I subscribed to 1 month of the pass, and I can actually pick 5-star heroes every 40 summons. It takes a little bit because I'm not spending any money on the game outside of that. And the fact that I did buy a Resplendent hero because I wanted my Gaius back, damn it. Fun fact, after I bought the Gaius Resplendent outfit because I said, what the hell, I really like this ninja with a fetish for candy. Guess what I pulled in a summon the next day?
What?
4-star Gaius.
Wow.
I mean, the Resplendent is a 5-star, so, I traded up. But still, point is, I'm not spending my money on gambling. I'm spending my money on things that are guaranteed. It's like with Monster Hunter. You buy some Palico tokens, and you buy a premium pass for the season. You know exactly what you're getting for rewards. You buy a limited time layered outfit. You know exactly what you're getting. You're not gambling,
Yeah.
It's like with Fire Emblem, the reason I don't have a problem with the gacha system is because of things like the pass. I can't get every 5-star hero I want out of an event, but if there's one I really want, and it's a 40 summons event, So to me, in-game spending is based on playing it smart. It's like DLC. You know exactly what you're getting with the DLC. It's a one-time purchase. Yeah. Yeah. With non loot box based offers in games, like buy your premium currency and you can get this instead of a loot box, That's the smarter decision, Now, I will admit that I have spent a little bit in some mobile games, But I'm not like constantly spend, microtransactions, loot boxes, Yeah. And loot boxes, if there was a way to exchange items, they'd be less egregious, Like, Pokemon trading card game Pocket is the only gacha game where you can get things that you're having trouble pulling from the gacha. Because it is a literal virtual trading card game. I have literally had people on my friends list trade cards with me. And they have that sharing function too. I know one guy on my friend list, every time he gives me a share, he somehow knows which cards are not in my album. And I always get one that I don't have. Unless he shared it at the same time that I pulled it from a pack.
Right.
Yeah. Because I do my pulls first, and then I check my notifications. Yeah. But your thoughts on the loot box versus trading cards and loot boxing and in-game spending in general?
Well, we've already said through here, trading cards is completely different from loot boxes. So to compare the two to one another is completely asinine, for lack of a better word. And loot boxes, like when they first showed up, I felt they weren't like, that equivalent to gambling, because there was always like a choice in certain like things that I was doing. Like you could either build up the points to access a loot box, or you can just like, bite the bullet and go through there. And one of the examples that I feel of the best one that did that well was the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. Because that's actually fun to play over and over again until you get enough points to open the next box. So you can get like, upgrades and stuff like that and more characters.
Yeah.
Which was the main thing that I hated about it, because it was completely random. That's one thing I will give to loot boxes in general. Everything they do is random. It's a surprise.
EA was like, it's not gambling, it's surprise mechanics.
Yeah, but nowadays it's more like, it feels like a lot of games nowadays like are trying to basically force that the grind is just so tedious that your best option would be to spend the money.
Yeah, again, with Heroes, I do find the grind to be a bit tedious, but right now I'm focusing on an event for a Heroes exclusive character I want because there's only like 8 days left on it, and the other one that I was starting on that I'm halfway done with has like 20 something days left, so I'm pretty much good. But it's still annoying because once I clear every book on all 3 difficulties, I have very limited means of getting orbs for summoning. Maybe if I'm feeling frisky and I want to do some summons, because they have things you can do with your duplicates aside from just get rid of them. You can merge them together if they're the same star ranking, and they'll be like 1+1, and then they're on the left side of the plus sign, it'll level up, and every time you merge, the number on the right side will go up. I only experimented with it with pairs of duplicates, so I don't know if like there's a limit so that the units don't get overpowered. Especially because multiplayer is a thing. Kind of. You're not actually interacting live in person. You're just going up against random people from around the world and shit. And things like that. But, it's like, so, they think smart when it comes to that aspect, So it's like you're not completely wasting your money, but it's still annoying because it's a gacha, Yeah. And I guess if we have a little bit of time and you're feeling up for it, we can do one bonus topic.
I guess so. What do you have in mind?
Let's pontificate on why Mario Kart is not getting an offline mobile game. I have an idea. RMX tracks, reverse variants, trick variants, and RT variants. When you think about it, an offline Mario Kart game for mobile like Tour would have to be structured similarly to a console game with like Grand Prix versus race tracks divided up into cups.
Yeah.
How the hell do they do that with over 150 something tracks in the game? And that includes the RT variants, the RMXs, and the 3-route city tracks in Piranha Plant Cove. I guess Calamari Desert too, but that's the 2-router.
Here's the simple answer here. They don't.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people are upset about that. And I can understand. Like, they hopped on the mobile train and they ran with it, but it's like every game designed needs to be able to be played offline and not like Pocket Camp. The reason I stopped playing Pocket Camp was because as soon as I paid $10 for the offline version, it was being treated like a live service free-to-play game. Weekly events. Now, I play a lot of Monster Hunter now. I play Fire Emblem Heroes. I play Trading Card Game Pocket. I play Mario Kart Tour, and I just started playing Digimon Up. Do you know how much time I'd have to stop being a productive adult just to play mobile games and offline games with live service functionality in them? And straight up, like, if Nintendo wanted to make Mario Kart Tour offline when the end of service came around, they should have thought about how the game was structured, how it was designed, and what they could do to make that work. Yeah. Because maybe not enough people liked what they did with the offline version of Pocket Camp, so they didn't consider that, and they're not going to do it going forward,
Maybe.
What are your thoughts?
You mean in terms of like, World going off or Tour going off, or
that and the generalization of Nintendo and their mobile games? Because I'm still salty about Lumines Puzzle and Music. I can sideload it. The problem is I need Matt's help to do some overrides on my phone, some temporary overrides on my phone connected to my computer just to load the damn files. And that game was pay to play. I had to pay for it and the DLC. I can't sideload. So it's like mobile games going offline in general, alongside your thoughts on Tor.
Well, I'm one person who played mobile games a little bit more before you and I met, and quickly got tired of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like, when mobile games go offline, I feel that's one thing that I don't think when developers who make mobile games think of. What happens when the game has to go offline?
Yeah.
And usually the idea that comes from that is usually just pull the plug when that idea comes to. There's never a thought of like an offline mode or that sort of thing. And as for Tor going offline, I mean, I never played it, but I've noticed you played a lot when we're together. So it seems like it's a fun game at the very least. And
It
I
is.
did, and my only major experience with it was playing the tracks that were introduced into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe as DLC.
Yeah.
And those were pretty damn good. So it's a shame to be seeing those go.
Right now, with the Booster Course Pass, every track that was introduced to Mario Kart Tour is preserved except for Piranha Plant Pipeline. We don't know if that's going to be permanently lost to time or if the rumors of World getting DLC are true. Because if World gets DLC, they could stick a revamped version of that track.
Honestly, hoping they do, because that would go a long ways among what's currently happening to make World worth that $80 price tag.
Unfortunately, the only way it's going to be worth the $80 price tag is if Nintendo does something that will literally mean that hell froze over, pigs are flying, and every other impossibility you can think of all rolled into one.
That's why I said hope.
Yeah, the only
way
the DLC will have to be completely free.
Mm-hmm.
Like, think about it. The first Mario Kart had 20 tracks. The second one had 16. The third either had 20 or 40. It depends on if you count the inclusion of the 20 super tracks added in, despite the literal hoops of fire you had to jump, right? And then Double Dash had 16 tracks. Fifth game comes around, they finally set the gold standard, 32 tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe breaks that standard by including the DLC from the Wii U version, making 48 tracks at launch.
Mm-hmm.
At the bare minimum, we should have gotten 32 tracks.
Yeah.
Bare minimum. And if they wanted to push in another 16, they probably could have made it work. I don't know, because like Crown City is like the city tracks from Tour. It has 3 routes on each lap. And in Grand Prix, you play one route and another route because of the new drive to the track location.
Mm-hmm.
And Peach Stadium is the same. You play through one lap of the actual track, but on one of the routes in the Grand Prix, you go to a bus terminal underneath the stadium that's not even a part of the main track.
Mm-hmm.
That could have been a fucking battle stage,
Yep.
It's like, yeah, you only have 30 tracks in the game. And I know a lot of people are going to come at me in the comments, but actually you have over 200 because of the intermissions. Those are routes. Those are tracks. Those are straight fucking lines from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
You want to call them tracks, fine. But as far as the internet, Mario Wiki, and I'm pretty sure even Nintendo themselves are concerned, the only tracks are the 3 lappers you can play in single player and offline local multiplayer versus race.
Yeah.
Because the routes don't even have names.
Yeah, they don't.
They're literally just places you can drive to. What gives? But yeah. This is like, I mean, Nintendo has always been the kings of innovation, creativity, and I'm going to tell you right now, if they had thought ahead and planned the games smarter, we could all be paying $10 for an offline version of the game and still be having a blast,
Yeah.
Yeah. As for Luminous, it's just more like sometimes the Switch is too bulky to drag around and I want something a little bit more portable. And until I drop $20 on a new copy of Luminous 2 for my PSP and figure out why it eats into the... What I do when I'm not charging it is I take the battery out. I don't know if that has something to do with the battery no longer working. But I can play this. It just drains the battery like candy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall it doing that years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I bought this new battery, but But it's like puzzle and music. If I can find a way to get around the security blockades on my phone, I'll sideload it and play it offline any damn time.
Mm-hmm.
And if Google has a problem with that, take it up with Mobcast and Enhance. Like Lumines started as a portable game on the PSP, And as of Lumines Arise, which there's actually petitions and demand to port it to the Switch too. And the reason why is because Enhance pretty much said when they shut down Puzzle and Music, they wanted to focus strictly on PlayStation and PC.
Mm-hmm.
Remember your roots. Puzzle games are fun, whether you're playing them on a console or a handheld, but they're built for handheld. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong.
What's better? What's the best way to play Tetris? On the go on a portable console or sitting in front of a TV?
On the go, definitely.
Yeah. So it's like, at the very least, consider developing a new mobile game with a long-term permanent future with no online connectivity needed. Give us the opportunity to buy a game on our phone and play it whenever the hell we want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I'm afraid that Lumines Remastered is eventually going to go offline because even though you can play it without being connected to the internet, it always checks to see if you're connected to the internet before it loads up the game. And if not, it says, the Switch spits back a message, could not connect to the internet. So what's going to happen when they shut down the Lumines Remastered servers?
Jack
Are we going to lose that game?
Yeah.
Probably. That'd make me cry. That's my favorite puzzle game.
I know it would.
Well, that is all we have for our show tonight because Brent has bedtime in an hour.
Technically an hour and a half, but yeah.
Oh, 10:30 tonight?
It's 8:30 right now.
Oh, that's right. I'm looking at the off-center time. I need to figure out how to spit this into Google because my computer clock has the wrong. It says it's 8:42. What the fuck? Anyway, we're going to try to work on scheduling to bring this back as a weekly affair, but we make no promises. So for the time being, you'll have to deal with whatever live streams you want to spit in because I would like to do gaming live streaming more, but I still got to fix the Discord issue. Yeah, well, maybe we can whore me out in the streets to buy Matt a plane ticket to come visit and do some experimentation. And then play some video games with him!
Yeah.
All right, we will see you guys next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.